Ferrari is a name most people will know and associate with extreme and exotic luxury vehicles. Today we're going to be diving into the rich history and evolution of Ferrari and taking a look at some of the most iconic and noteworthy vehicles ever to come out of the Ferrari factory. It all started with a man named Enzo Ferrari, born in Italy on the 20th of February 1898. Enzo's first taste of the motoring world was as a racing driver, making his competitive debut in 1919 for a car manufacturing company in Milan called CMN, and then going on to join the racing department of Alfa Romeo in 1920. Winning his first Grand Prix in 1923 and then going on to win 3 more the following year in 1924. However, following the deaths of 2 of his fellow Italian drivers, Ugo Savocci and Antonio Ascari, Enzo Ferrari decided to retire from racing and went on to manage and develop cars for Alfa Romeo. In 1939, he left the Alfa Romeo racing division and started his own company. Since his previous contract with Alfa Romeo stated he is not allowed to use his own name for a company for 4 years after his contract, he called it Auto Avio Costruzioni. The company built its first car in 1940 and produced its first Ferrari badged vehicle in 1947. This came in the form of the 125S, powered by a 1.5 litre V12 and reaching a top speed of up to 130 miles per hour. This car would go on to be the beginning of a successful and rich history that we all know and love from Ferrari today. The following year, Ferrari would go on to create its first Grand Tourer, called the 166 Inter, powered by a 2 litre V12 capable of reaching 93 miles per hour. Not too long after, in 1950, it would be replaced by the more powerful 195 Inter with a top speed of 112 miles per hour, really pushing performance of road-going vehicles at that time to new levels. Ferrari wanted to branch out to their American market, so they came up with the Ferrari America series. First to be released was the Ferrari 340 America, a high-performance race car powered by a monstrous 4.1 litre V12, capable of reaching a top speed of 149 miles per hour, making it the fastest Ferrari ever made at the time. Then Ferrari decided to make a road-going version due to its popularity. This was called the 342 America and had a more refined and luxurious look to it. Although it was more road-focused, the performance figures were still mind-blowing, with a top speed of 151 miles per hour and producing 200 brake horsepower. Only 6 of these cars would ever be made, making them extremely rare and sought after. Now let's jump ahead to the 1960s. Ferrari would go on to release a new model in the America series. This came in the form of the Ferrari 400 Super America, once again shattering their previous performance figures with a top speed of 165 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 of just 9.2 seconds. Now let's look at one of Ferrari's most iconic vehicles of all time. In 1962, Ferrari made the 250 GTO. This track and road car was extremely quick and would go on to dominate the racing scene, winning multiple international championships and 2 Tour de France automobile championships. Nothing could beat this 2.9 litre monster, making 296 brake horsepower and achieving 0 to 60 in just 5.6 seconds, and going on to reach a top speed in excess of 170 miles per hour. This really was the pinnacle of racing and road performance at the time, and really solidified Ferrari's standing in the motoring world, and is still one of the most sought after Ferraris to this day, with 2 of them being sold at auction in the last decade. One was sold for $48 million and the other was sold for $70 million, making it the most expensive car ever sold. Now let's fast forward to 1984, with rivals Lamborghini now firmly established in the supercar manufacturing world. Ferrari was under great pressure to only make and release the best of the best, so they came up with the Ferrari Testarossa, the fastest production Ferrari they had ever made, with a 0 to 60 of 5.2 seconds and a top speed of 180 miles per hour. It also became one of the most mass-produced Ferrari models ever, with almost 10,000 units made. Next came the Ferrari F40, which was built to celebrate Ferrari's 40th anniversary, and was the last Ferrari to be personally approved by Enzo Ferrari, who sadly passed away in August 1988. The Ferrari F40 featured a 2.9 litre V8 that could propel the car from 0 to 60 in just 3.8 seconds. Absolutely mind-blowing figures. Now came Ferrari's 50th anniversary, and with that came the Ferrari F50, one of the most iconic Ferraris of all time. The F50 really was something special, sporting a 4.7 litre V12 making 512 brake horsepower and reaching a top speed of 202 miles per hour. It's easy to see why it's still a fan favourite to this day. Next came the Ferrari Enzo in 2002. Named after Ferrari's founder, the Enzo was a revolutionary new car that had the looks to go with the performance. The front of the vehicle was inspired by an F1 car featuring very sharp and refined aero panels, giving it a sleek and streamlined look. With a 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds and a top speed of 217 miles per hour, the Ferrari Enzo really had it all, and went on to be a great success for Ferrari and an honouring tribute to Enzo Ferrari. Now it was time for Ferrari to unveil their latest supercar, the 430 Scuderia. Powered by a 4.3 litre V8 engine, this luxury car could achieve speeds of up to 198 miles per hour. It was a fan favourite among supercar enthusiasts, with many hailing it as the best Ferrari ever made due to the looks and the feel of the vehicle's handling and performance. Then came the 458 Italia in 2009, the successor to the previously mentioned 430 Scuderia. Ferrari improved on just about everything that people loved in the predecessor, from the performance to the onboard technology of the vehicle, and overall giving it a much more modern redesign. Once again, Ferrari went all out in the performance sector, pairing this exotic sports car with a 4.5 litre V8 engine, which produces a whopping 562 brake horsepower, propelling the car up to speeds of 210 miles per hour. It now came time for Ferrari to set an example for the hypercar manufacturing industry. In 2013, they released the LaFerrari. With a price tag of over £1.1 million, you can be sure that Ferrari has gone all out in every aspect of this car, achieving 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds and going on to reach speeds of up to 217 miles per hour. You can see that Ferrari had a point to prove with the LaFerrari. Only 500 of these luxury exotic vehicles were made, making them extremely sought after among the mega rich luxury car enthusiasts. Jump ahead 5 years and Ferrari would go on to produce a new Grand Tourer called the 812 Superfast. Powered by a 6.3 litre V12 engine producing a mind-blowing 789 brake horsepower, the 812 Superfast's unique look quickly became a fan favourite among many Ferrari fans, as it differs to the traditional rear engine mounted supercars and is widely regarded as one of the best sounding cars ever made. In 2019, Ferrari produced the SF90 Stradale, SF90 standing for the 90th anniversary of the Scuderia Ferrari racing team. But that's not the only reason this car was extremely special. It's also the first hybrid electric Ferrari ever made, and the beginning of a new all-electric future that we are heading towards. The hybrid is comprised of a 4 litre V8 engine and 3 electric motors powering the transmission and both front wheels. It's good to see supercar manufacturers taking steps towards reducing their carbon footprint slowly but surely, but I think we can all agree that we are going to miss the sound of a roaring V12 in years to come. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.